Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a sketch challenge for the Hip Kit Club design team, and I am working with the December 2016 Hip Kits, and here's the sketch that I'm going to be doing, and I'm just going to be doing my take on it, and I'm super excited to jump into it. This is the cut file from the exclusive cut file from Hip Kit Club, and those are uploaded if you're subscribed to the Hip Kit. You guys can download those if you are a subscriber. So definitely check that out on the Hip Kit Club website. And going into this, this is my daughter's photo of her birthday, and I was just thinking about celebrating and just celebration, and looking at this pattern paper, it really helped me think about, okay, when you're celebrating a girl's birthday, it's usually bright and colorful and cheerful. So I love this paper for this layout, just because it incorporates a lot of the bright, vibrant colors that I wanted to incorporate. So going in here, I am just cutting up this strips of paper, and I'm not doing it straight across. I'm kind of doing it just like the color. It's kind of jagged, and it just brings more interest, and I like that. So I'm glad I didn't just cut them straight across. So on the ends, you'll see that I'm rounding them off, and it makes it look more like a paintbrush stroke and more natural, and I really like that. It just came together really well, and it was incorporating all the colors that I wanted to incorporate. So I started with this idea, but you'll see I ended up changing it later, but still kind of keeping the same concept, because I am going off of the sketch. So, but having that sketch is a really great way to just jump off, a starting off point for you. If you have a hard time, where do I start? Or, what am I doing? I want to use this and this, but I don't know how to use it. The sketches are wonderful for that. So I love them. I love working with them each week. So hopefully you guys are joining too and doing it as well. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just glue these down just so it's one piece and I'm not having to juggle around with them. But here is where it changes. Okay, so you'll see, boom. Okay, so looking at our mood board this month, I was thinking about celebration, and I'm like, okay, birthdays are balloons, confetti, banners, and I'm like, banners, oh yeah. So I needed something in the circle here, and I really love this idea. I love how the banners came to my mind, and I was like, yes, this is it. So I forgot to show you guys, or I thought I turned on my camera, but in order to get those circles, I took those strips of paper that were below, and I unglued them, and I got my circle punch out, and I just put the paper halfway in the paper punch, and that's how I got these half circles. So I'm so sorry that did not get filmed. I don't know why it didn't, but I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. So hopefully you'll see it come together whenever I start gluing down the banners. Okay, going into this, I am doing my mixed media, and I'm just using some watercolors that I have, and I'm using yellow and the pinks. I really love doing mixed media, especially for this layout, because it just reminded me of a burst of confetti. So it was just such a fun way to use my watercoloring and mixed media. So I'm doing a couple of the splattering with my watercolors and some water, and then I'm using just the packaging technique. So if you have not done that before, you should definitely try it. I feel like the more messy you get, the more beautiful it comes out. So there's no perfect way of doing this, just practice makes perfect. So, but one tip I have is be careful with the colors that you're using. If you use warm colors and cool colors and they mix, it's going to kind of turn into a muddy mess. So if you would like to just use, cool colors all together, they'll look better mixed in together than if you use warm and cool colors together. So that's just one little tip I have about mixed media. And I wasn't always great at mixed media. It took me a long time to get comfortable with it. So don't get frustrated, just keep trying. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry because I had a lot going on there and I didn't want to mess it up. So I'm going to turn off the camera and let that dry for a little bit. Now I'm coming back and you'll see I cut the cut file, I cut the flowers out because I didn't want to use the flowers, but I could always use it in another layout if I wanted to. So I'm going to glue down the circle, put that down, and I still have my pencil marks from where I marked whenever I did my mixed media, so that was helpful when I put the cut file back. Okay, so here I go with the banners, and there's no certain way to do this, but I just kind of made it look like it attached to one end and kind of dipped down in the middle, and then it went back up to attach on another end. So, and I just mixed up the colors. There was no pattern I went by. I just kind of make sure that I had at least two of the same colors within the banners. So I like how that was coming together. It looks so cute. I just love this so much. Okay, so once I had that down, I don't stitch or sew. I have a sewing machine, but I'm not sure how to use it. I'm not very familiar with it. So this is my way of stitching. I take my white gel pen and I just make like little stitch marks on tops of there, and you'll see in the close-ups they look so, like, it's cute. I just love how it turned out. It looks like little stitch marks. So that's my little tip that I have for that if you don't stitch. Okay, so I'm using foam to pop up my photo. And then I'm going to go back, and I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to go with the same kind of layering effect that I did at the beginning. I did want to incorporate this really pretty tape from American Crafts. It's super pretty. It's sparkly, and it just, oh my goodness, it's so pretty. But so I thought I would use my removable tape and just kind of play around with it. That way it wasn't permanent, so I could just take it right back off. So I was just kind of messing around with it, and eventually I figured something out, but I just wasn't quite sure. But I knew I wanted to incorporate something on the bottom there. So I thought, well, maybe if I have a longer piece right here, and then I just start layering up some more. So I messed with that for quite a while because I just wasn't sure about it, and you know, sometimes you do. You have to work at something and then come back later to it. So, but I thought I would just kind of move on to my title. And I came up with all smiles, and she was just full of all kinds of smiles because it was her birthday. So I messed with that again. I thought, well, maybe if I put my title down, I'll get more of a idea of what I want to do. But yeah, I just love, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to paint the title or not. So I just kind of left it white for right now. I did kind of thought maybe I could outline the title, but then I thought, oh, maybe that's just too much. So I go back and forth all the time with what I'm doing, but eventually something works out. Okay, so I definitely am liking this. I like the sparkly tape, and then I added like a white strip of piece of paper that had like little confetti marks on it, but you can barely see that, but maybe you can see them in the photo. And then I was like, okay, so I come back to it, and I just ripped up some extra pieces of that paper, and I really like how it looked. So I was going to cut this because they are triangles and not circles, but I decided not to do that. I wasn't brave enough to cut it because I wasn't sure how it was going to look. Okay, so I'm going to add some thread just for some more color and some interest and texture. Going to add some more there, and this is yellow that I'm using, and I get my thread from Michael's. I just use my 50% off coupon, and I just buy up the thread because it's going to take me a long time to use up one spool of thread. Okay, so incorporating the same on the bottom, I'm going to do this little strip of paper up top. And then I am going to rip another piece of that watercolor paper. And then I'm going to go in with some more thread, and I'm going to use pink. And I thought about putting that little date thing up there, but I thought it was too much. So I'm going to use just a little tab that I had. And the tab was from the exclusive ephemera pack from the Hip Kit Club. And then I added a little half circle there just to incorporate the same design going on inside the circle below it. I really wanted to use that banner, but I didn't end up using it. Okay, so these are from My Mind's Eye, and they're like gold pieces, and I really wanted to use this like spiral thing. I really wanted to use it, you guys. I tried so hard, and I knew like going into this layout I wanted to use them. So they've been in my mind the whole time for this layout, but it just doesn't work. So okay, so I use that little saying, it says party, and it's in gold. And I use these little hearts. And then I'm going to go with some enamel dots, and I'm just going to add them here and there. Enamel dots are perfect for like, especially if these splatters all over the page. It just brings in more of the color that you have going on in the rest of the page, and you don't have to like get out all your paints and stuff like that. So these enamel dots were super fun and easy to use. So alright, so this is pretty much my layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want, check out all the information below in the description box and leave a comment, and please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I have close-ups coming up. Bye.